All right, today we're going to dive into something really special. It's the blueprint for a concept called Sonara. Now, I want you to forget everything you think you know about music apps. This is something else entirely, a whole new way to think about how we learn, create, and most importantly, share music with each other. Okay, this sentence right here, this is pretty much the entire big idea in a nutshell. I know, it's a mouthful, it's dense, but trust me, every single word in there is critical. So, over the next few minutes, we're going to break down exactly what it means for an AI to be audio first, how it co-creates with you, and the coolest part, how it teaches through this thing called musical state. But, before we get into all the cool tech, let's just start with the why. Ask yourself this. What if picking up an instrument felt more like jumping into a game with your friends and less like you're all alone in a room just practicing scales and getting frustrated? The number one reason people quit learning music is that they're embarrassed, they're afraid of sounding bad. Well, Sonara is designed from the ground up to solve that very problem. So how in the world does Sonara do that? Well, it starts by completely changing the environment. See, we're not talking about another app with a bunch of lessons and exercises you have to get through. No, we are talking about a persistent, immersive, living music world. And this slide, well, it just lays it all out, doesn't it? On the left, you've got the old way. You're practicing alone, you're being judged, and the AI is basically just a strict grader. But on the right, you see the Sonara way. It's all about social participation, building confidence, and having an AI that acts like a musical partner. And that shift at the very bottom, that's the most important one. It's moving from a world that is skill first to one that is belonging first. This really gets to the heart of that cultural shift. In the world of Sonara, you learn by doing, by jumping into what they call musical quests with your friends. The whole system is built to reward you for just showing up and participating, not for being perfect. It's all about reframing your journey as becoming a musician, instead of just checking off boxes and achieving a skill. It's an identity, not a report card. Okay, so if the AI isn't a grader, what does it actually do? How does it teach? This is where things get really, really cool. The core learning algorithm uses this brilliant analogy. It's like learning to ride a bike. Think about it for a second. When you learn to ride a bike, you have training wheels, right? Or maybe someone is holding onto the back of the seat. They give you just enough support to keep you from falling. But what's the goal? The whole point is for them to eventually let go so you can feel that amazing moment when you're balancing all on your own. Sonara's AI does the exact same thing. Its primary job is to make itself unnecessary the moment you find your musical flow. So here's how it works, broken down into 4 phases. First, it predicts. It kind of gives you a nudge, suggesting notes or rhythms to help you get started. Then, it supports. It'll jump in, but only if the whole musical piece is about to fall apart. Now, step 3 is the magic one. It observes. It's listening to see if you've hit that groove, that creative flow state. And finally, once it senses you're there, it withdraws. It just fades into the background and lets you ride. But that, of course, brings up a huge question. How on earth does an AI know when you're in a flow state? How can a machine actually feel the music? The answer is probably the single most important piece of tech in this whole system. It's the secret sauce. It's called the musical state engine. And this is not your typical note-checking software that just tells you if you're right or wrong. Not at all. This engine is designed to understand context. It's constantly analyzing the vibe of the performance. Is the rhythm stable? Is the harmonic tension building? Is the group actually playing together? It's feeling the music. And these examples give you a little taste of what the engine is feeling. It can tell the difference between a rhythm that's shaky and unstable and that incredible moment when a groove is locked and everyone is just perfectly in sync. It can even understand something called expressive deviation. That moment when a guitarist bends a note just right for emotional effect. The engine knows that's not a mistake, that's art. And this is the absolute game changer for learning. In a normal app, you move to the next level when you complete, exercise 3B. But in Sonara, the world itself, the music around you doesn't change or evolve until the musical state is right, until that groove locks in. Your progression is tied to the feel of the music, which keeps you completely in the moment. Now, this whole system is incredible for a duet or a small group, but the vision for Sonara is, well, it's way, way bigger than that. So how do you take this feeling and scale it up from just 2 people to a massive global orchestra? This is a huge technical challenge. I mean, anyone who's ever tried one of those online jam apps knows they start to lag and fall apart with more than just a few people. So how can Sonara possibly handle potentially millions of players at once without it just turning into a chaotic wall of noise?
The answer is actually pretty brilliant, and it's simple. See, the old way is to send these massive, high-latency audio files back and forth between every single user. It just clogs everything up. Sonora doesn't do that. It only sends that tiny, lightweight musical state data that we were just talking about. This takes up almost no bandwidth, which means the system can scale to, well, a virtually unlimited number of people.
And to manage how all those people sound together, the system uses something called hierarchical musical swarming. It starts with you, the individual. Then the AI intelligently groups you with a couple of other players into a little microcell, creating these tight musical moments. Those cells then get grouped into larger sections to build harmonies. And finally, all of those sections contribute to the massive global field. It's kind of like a flock of birds. Each one follows simple rules, but together they create this incredibly complex and beautiful, coherent whole. So we've got the philosophy, we've got the bike balance learning method, and we've got the technology to scale it to the whole world. But this entire thing is built around a pretty abstract idea, right? A feeling. So how in the world do you protect a feeling with something as cold and concrete as a patent? Okay, deep breath. This is a direct quote from the core patent claim. It looks like pure, impenetrable legalese, I know, but buried inside all that dense language are the exact same revolutionary ideas we've been talking about this whole time. So let's translate it. First thing, the patent protects the audio-first idea. This means it's not a system that needs a special MIDI keyboard or digital instrument. No, it's built to listen to a real guitar, a real trumpet, a real human voice, any instrument from any number of people anywhere. And here it is, the crown jewel. The patent explicitly protects the bike balance method. It describes a system that adaptively modulates its assistance based on the musical state. In plain English, it protects an AI that knows when to give you a hand and, most importantly, knows when it's time to get out of your way and let you shine. And that's what makes this patent so powerful. It's novel because nobody had ever thought to patent an AI that adaptively withdraws its help based on musical flow. And it's non-obvious. Think about it. Every other system out there was busy asking, is this note correct? Sonara came along and asked a totally different question. Does this music feel right? That fundamental shift from evaluating correctness to stabilizing flow is the real breakthrough. So let's bring it all home. Sonara isn't just a teaching tool. It's not just a game. It's a new kind of social medium that's built on sound. It's a place you go to connect and participate with others. And the most incredible part is that musical skill, it just kind of happens. It emerges as a natural, beautiful side effect of simply being part of the community. And that leaves us with one final, pretty mind-bending thought. The principles behind this, an AI that acts as a partner, learning through a state of flow, and an instructor that knows when to back off, that's an incredibly powerful model. So if it can teach us something as deeply human and intuitive as feeling music together, what else could it be used for? What other complex, collaborative human skills could we unlock next?